Hello everyone, praise God, Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem, and happy Easter. Welcome back to my channel, the Physical Geography of Africa. I'm your girl still, Shayla. So today we are here to talk about the physical geography of Africa, but today I want us to talk about Uganda geographically. Uganda geographically. First and foremost, I cannot start talking about the geography of Africa, leaving aside where I come from. Today I'm going to talk about Uganda geographically. If you're Ugandan, there are so many things you didn't know about Uganda. Maybe I may let you know about your country geographically. Maybe you were in school, but geography wasn't your best. But now today I'm going to make it some good for you. Yeah, I'm going to make things simpler for you. Uganda is on the continent of Africa. Uganda is located in the eastern part or the eastern region of Africa. Yes, Uganda is on the continent of Africa. Please, if you watch this video and you're out there, I'm here to inform other people out there. Don't laugh when I say so, because I know it happens. Africa is not a country, please, my people. Africa is a continent, just like any other continents, like Asia, like Antarctica, like Oceania, like North America or South America, sorry. So Uganda is, Africa is a continent. Uganda is found on the continent of Africa in the eastern part of it. Uganda is found in the north and the eastern hemispheres. Someone is going to ask me why Uganda is found in the north and then the eastern hemispheres. Uganda is found in the north and the eastern hemispheres because the equator runs across Uganda, and most of the northern part of Uganda lies north of the equator. So if you want to see the equator come to Uganda, there is a place or there is a district in Uganda called MPG district in the village called Kayabu, just 70 kilometers away from Kampala, the main city. You'll find the equator where it crosses the country, and even you can do some experiments there. You'll see what the experiments, you'll see maybe water is spilling some elements. So that's where the equator runs through the country. So Uganda lies in the north and the eastern hemispheres of the world, because the equator is a line that divides the world into two parts. So the equator, now Uganda is one of those countries that crossed by the equator, and so that's why it lies in the north and then the eastern hemispheres, but mostly in the eastern hemisphere. That's where Uganda is. Uganda lies on the latitude. Uganda latitudinally is on the latitude of 1.3733 degrees north, and then longitudinal wise Uganda lies on 32.290 degrees east longitudinal wise. So that's Uganda, how it is located. So Uganda, I'm still talking about where to find Uganda. If you are to come to Uganda, where to find Uganda, I'm talking about Uganda geographically. You're going to know more about Uganda. If you are there and you didn't know where your country lies, I'm here to tell you that Uganda is among those few countries that, in fact, in the whole world, Uganda is the only country that lies in between the two hemispheres, and most of its part in the north. I said longitudinal wise, Uganda is 32.2903 degrees east, and latitudinal wise, Uganda is 1.3733 degrees north. Uganda lies in the midst of the Great Lakes of East Africa. Someone is going to ask me, Great Lakes of East Africa, how come? What are you talking about? Yes, Uganda lies in the midst of the Great Lakes of East Africa. And when I talk about the Great Lakes of the East Africa, I mean Lake Victoria, Lake Choga, Lake Albert, Lake Edward. So Uganda lies in the Mid-East. Uganda has a country, I should say, is an interlacustrine country. It is within the interlacustrine region. It is surrounded by those, you see, within the midst of those great lakes. Uganda is a landlocked country. Too bad. Uganda is a landlocked country, so it doesn't have the access to the main sea. Uganda accesses the sea or the port through her neighbors like Kenya and Tanzania that lie east and south of its borders. So Uganda is landlocked, and Uganda is bordered by mountains or steep slopes on its borders. You find that in the west, Uganda is bordered by mountains like Rwenzori, Muhabura, and then in the north, Uganda is bordered by mountains like Moroto Mountain, Morongoro, Kadama, and then in the south, Uganda is bordered by mountains like the Elgon. So Uganda is bordered by steep slopes, all mountains, and that will take me to the reason as to why I'll talk about the soils of Uganda, and we'll know why Uganda has the type of soil that I'll talk about, because it is bordered by steep slopes, it is bordered by mountains on each direction, all on each side. Uganda's capital is Kampala. Yes, Uganda's capital is Kampala. And Uganda's capital is also built on the 7 hills. And these 7 hills, I mean hills, I don't know, my accent may be so poor, but I know you can get me. I mean Hills. Yeah, Uganda's capital, Kampala, is built on 7 hills. That is to mention but a few: Namilembe Hill, Mengo, Old Kampala, Nakasero. So you find that on these hills, I'm going to talk about it when I come to talk about Uganda's respect to religion. You find that these places, each and every hill, has something that was built on it in respect of religion, as I'm going to talk about it. So Uganda is one of those countries that when you took its aerial view, or an aerial photograph, you only have to see 2 colors. You have to see green and blue, because Uganda is covered in green and is covered in blue waters, blue for the water. So Uganda, his capital is Kampala. Uganda's currency is Ugandan shillings. If you are looking for Uganda geographically, I think maybe that is financially, but I think it is part of the geography. So Uganda's currency is shillings. Its capital, I've said it is Kampala. I said Uganda is landlocked. Uganda's population is estimated to be around 45 million people, but Uganda owning and possessing fertile people within these few years, I think it will be more than that. But of late, Uganda is about 45 to 46 million people by its population. Now, that is all about how Uganda is located. Now, you know where Uganda is located in the world, which hemispheres Uganda is in, and then you know which region are you going to find Uganda in. If you come to Africa, you'll know that you'll find it in the east. You know how long, you know the longitude and the latitude of Uganda, and then you know why Uganda shares the 2 hemispheres, the north and the eastern, because it is closed by the main line that divides the world into 2 equal parts, that is the equator. So Uganda is within the middle. How lucky. And so that gives us the kind of weather and the kind of climate that I'm going to talk about in Uganda. So this draws me to the climate of Uganda. Did you know? Don't worry yourself. You want to come to Uganda, you don't know which period you want to come to Uganda, you have never heard more about Uganda, and you want to come, and you are like, should I go there during summer? Should I go there during winter? How is their spring like? How is their autumn like? Don't worry yourself. Uganda has an equal climate throughout the year. Uganda's climate is tropical warm climate. Yes, tropical warm climate, reason being because of the equator. I've said about that. So Uganda's climate is tropical warm. Tropical warm with degrees ranging from 25 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit to 84 degrees Fahrenheit, and receiving annual rainfall of 1000 mm to 1500 mm throughout the year. So Uganda is a warm country. Don't worry yourself if you are allergic to coldness, feel free in Uganda. If you are allergic to hotness, feel free in Uganda. There is no hotness, there is no coldness. It is a warm country throughout the year. When you come to Uganda between the month of March to May, it is a rainy season. It is raining, and this rainfall is 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 the kind of rainfall that is conducive. When you come to between September to November, it is also a rainy period. So maybe you endeavor to carry a raincoat, you endeavor to carry boots and an umbrella. Only that, you don't need heavy clothes. Still, it is raining, but it is warm. It is not too cold. Still, it is cool, but it is not cold. So Uganda has the best conducive type of climate. So don't worry yourself when you come to Uganda. The climate is so conducive. The climate is warm with favorable degrees ranging from 25 to 29, from 77 Fahrenheit to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That draws me to Uganda's line. Someone is going to ask me, what is the line? I remember when you were in school, there are those people who were very thin, there are those people who were very curvaceous, and then they could say, this one has figure 8. This one has a figure 1 because you are too thin and tall and straight, and then other figures, and blah blah, figure 9, whatever. So that is the structure, the line. So Uganda's line, if you were to draw a polynomial, which view do you give Uganda? Uganda's line is mostly a plateau. Uganda is a plateau. What is a plateau? A plateau is a raised piece of land and flat on top. Raised piece of land but flat on top. So Uganda's line is a plateau. The structure, all the physical appearance of Uganda is a plateau. Uganda is a raised piece of land, and above the sea level, it is about 5,000 feet to 1,500 meters, but to places that are so steep, going to 3,200 maybe meters, but not exceeding that. So Uganda is mainly a plateau land by its line. Remember, I told you about the mountains that border our Uganda, our country. I told you in the north, in the west, we have mountains like Rwenzori that are so steep and are covered in snow, and we have a lot of glaciers, have a lot of glaciated lakes. The only place that we are having snow in Uganda is around Mountain Rwenzori. Yeah, don't get surprised if I said Uganda is a warm country. We have those places that are above the snow line, and that is Mountain Rwenzori. So Mountain Rwenzori is capped, snow capped, and so it has a lot of glaciated lakes, and we have a lot of glaciers. I'll come to talk more about that when I talk about glaciers in Africa, and you'll know that glaciated lakes, the sacs that we have in Africa. Most of them are here in Uganda, and they are around areas of Rwenzori in the western part of Uganda. And then I said on the north, all in the north, Uganda has mountains or steep lands that are bordering it, like Mountain Moroto. So you'll find that all these contribute to the Uganda's line, the structure of Uganda. So this draws me to the drainage system of Uganda. When I talk about the drainage system of Uganda, what do I talk about? I mean the water. I said when you take an aerial view of Uganda, you only have to see two colors, the green and the blue. The blue for water. In fact, Uganda is known to be the pearl of Africa. It's known to be the Matoke land, and Uganda is known to be the waterlogged country. Waterlogged because Uganda is built on waters. God built Uganda on waters. Uganda's drainage system is so rich in lakes. I was so surprised, so many people out there. I was talking to so many students outside Uganda. They are non-Ugandans and they have never heard of lakes. All they know, maybe they know a sea in an ocean, but they don't know lakes. It is surprising, but it is true. So Uganda, lakes are water sources that are formed within basins. Yeah, they are formed within basins. So Uganda's drainage is so rich because maybe we don't have access to the sea. So God was like, my sweetheart Uganda, you have to have these since you don't have the sea. So Uganda has lakes, Uganda has rivers of all kinds and of all types. Uganda has waterfalls, Uganda has water springs. All these in Uganda has streams. Yes, when someone is going to ask me what is the difference between a river and a stream, I'll talk about that when I come to drainage system of Africa. Wait for me, all these things I'm going to give them to you. I'm here for you. Don't mind about the delay. Maybe I'm caught up in some other kind of work, but I'm here. It is my obligation to let you know about the geography of our countries, to let you know about the geography of our world. Because seriously, God should be praised for these things that He made. Me, I love geography for one thing, because whenever I look at nature, I praise God the more. I love Him the more. So, Uganda's drainage system, I said it is formed of lakes, rivers, streams, waterfalls, streams, geysers, and hot springs. Yes. So in Uganda we have the main lakes I told you that are shared by other East African countries. That is Lake Albert, Lake Edward, Lake George, Lake Choker, and Lake Victoria. This Lake Victoria, did you know about Lake Victoria in Uganda? Lake Victoria comes in number 2, is in the second position in the whole of the world, the largest lake with fresh waters in the whole world, comes in the position of number 2, with the largest lake with fresh waters. The lake that comes in number 1, if you didn't know, in the world with the fresh waters, that the lake has fresh water in the world, it is Lake Superior, that is in North America. But here comes to us, after Lake Superior comes the mighty Lake Victoria, and this lake has contributed a lot to the growth and development, both economic, socially, and financial growth of the people of East Africa. When I mean the East Africa, I mean Uganda and its neighbors, Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt, all those people that maybe Egypt is in the north, but is still somewhere, somehow, why am I saying that it is benefiting from Lake Victoria? I'm going to tell you why Egypt benefits from Lake Victoria and how. So this mighty lake is the second with the fresh waters in the whole world. Uganda owns the deepest lake in Africa, and that is Lake Bunyonyi, and it is located in the west of Uganda. Take note, whenever I mention something, I mention the region of Uganda. This means that in every region of Uganda is blessed with something. Yes, Uganda is a rich country. There is no region that maybe you have to see lakes, you'll have to all to travel to the north. You'll all have to travel to the south. At least in every region in Uganda, there is something to watch, there is something for tourists to see, there is something for us to enjoy, there is something that gives us a view, there is something that draws us near to the natural phenomena. So Uganda has the deepest lake in Africa, and that is Lake Bunyonyi. Uganda owns the longest river in Africa, and that is River Nile. And this River Nile draws its source from Lake Victoria. That's why I said Egypt benefits, because the source of the Nile that has its mouth in Egypt is found in Uganda. People confuse, or as I hear people say, River Nile begins from Egypt. River Nile begins from here. I'm here to inform you. I'll talk about that, because I'm here to talk about the drainage system of Africa as a whole, and then I go into the depth of these rivers. But I'm here to tell you this. The river has stages. The river has the mouth. The river has its source. It has the mature stage, and it has the mouth, all the middle stage within the middle. So the source of the Nile, or the beginning of that river Nile, is in Uganda, and then the mouth of a river, it's where it pours its water to. So the mouth of River Nile is in Egypt, but its source is in Uganda. So Uganda owns the largest or the longest river in in Africa, and this River Nile has a lot of tributaries, and I will talk about rivers. I've said I'll talk about the drainage system, so I'll talk about river tributaries and everything. So Uganda has the 8 major rivers that East Africa has benefited from a lot, and these 8 major rivers are specifically found and mostly found in Uganda. Here comes these rivers. I talk about River Nile itself. I talk about the Albert Nile, and then I talk about River Achwa in the north of Uganda. I talk about River Oguk in the north of Uganda. River Panjar still in the north of Uganda. Then I talk about River Kafu, River Katonga, and these are in the west of Uganda, in the western part of Uganda. After mentioning the north, now even I'm coming to the west, and you find that the southwestern part of Uganda, we have River Katonga, which you cross, and then you cross to the western part of the country. So Uganda is rich with a lot of rivers, and these rivers of Uganda, one of the characteristics of Uganda's rivers, they are swampy. That contributes to the color. I told you that if you took the aerial view, the color you will see is green. Why? Because green is everywhere in Uganda, and its waters are everywhere, and the most of the rivers are covered under swamps. Uganda's rivers are swampy. That's the fresh waters that are produced by the Ugandan rivers, because these swamps have papyrus or papyri, and this papyrus sieves the water, filters the water, producing fresh waters, producing clean waters. So Uganda's rivers are swampy and have fresh, clean water. Uganda has a salt lake. Did you know that Uganda draws its salt from a lake called Lake Katwe? It is in Uganda. Uganda's rivers are known to be seasonal, but in reality, this is the reality. When they say they are seasonal, it doesn't mean that they dry completely. Remember, I told you already. Now, I don't need even to think about that or to think for you. You know why? Because I said the climate in Uganda is warm, so the warmth can't let the rivers to dry up. No, instead their flow reduces a bit. The only things that are making these rivers to dry up, it's only human activities, man's activities, sand mining, construction, and so forth. And I'm calling upon fellow Ugandans and fellow Africans, please respect wetlands, respect Mother Nature, respect wetlands, because they're of great importance to us. So Uganda's rivers are said to be seasonal, but it does not mean that they dry up completely, just like the rate at which they flow tends to cease. And when it comes maybe to the wet period, or what we call the wet season, you find that the steep of flowing is so high, because Uganda is never a dry country. Never a dry country. That's about drainage of Uganda. As talked about lakes, rivers, still I'm still talking about the drainage. Then I'll talk about the waterfalls. If you want to see the water falling from a steep slope, that's getting the name the waterfalls. Yeah, the waterfalls in Uganda are found everywhere, mostly in forests. And the reason being that the streams are drawn from every corner in the world. I said Uganda is a waterlogged country, and you find even its nature or its terrain of the plateaus will give us the flow of water, thus giving us the waterfalls. If you want to see these waterfalls, come to Uganda, come to the eastern part of Uganda, you'll find the Sipi waterfalls. Come to the northern part of Uganda, northeast, you'll find the Makshon Falls. Come to east part of Uganda, you'll find you will find the Owen Falls, or what we call Chira, and it is around Jinja. When you go to the west, so many that even I can't name, those that even have local names. You'll find a lot. Uganda is blessed with hot springs, These hot springs, most of them we find them in the western part of Uganda, in areas of Fort Portal, Kabarore, and the rest. We have hot springs like and geysers, like we have Chitagata, we have Sepire. So we have a lot of hot springs. And did you know the secret behind Uganda's hot springs? People get healed from that water, from the water that is given out by the hot spring. I don't know how. I need to do more research, and even if I do more research, that is left with for God. I don't know how, but people bathe this water, they heal their diseases. People carry their eggs and they boil them from there, and then they take breakfast from the hot springs. Uganda is a very rich country, and it is so beautiful. If you're in Uganda and you didn't know about this, I'm letting you know about it, that Uganda owns these natural, should I say, natural what? Natural thermal energy systems, yeah, natural thermal energy systems, that you'll just have to boil water, you just have to boil your eggs from there, and then they get ready. After talking about the drainage systems of Uganda, this draws me to the other physical features of Uganda, like relief. When I talk about relief, I mean the height, or the height of the land of Uganda. Most of the relief, I don't know, my accent is so poor. I know, my tribe. My tribe, and mostly I grew up from the central, so some letters are so difficult to pronounce, but I mean relief. RELIEF. Yeah. So the relief of Uganda, I'm talking about now mountains. I'm talking about mountains, hills, and valleys. So Uganda has what we call the main Rift Valley. Yes, the main Rift Valley runs through Uganda and then shares to other countries of East Africa. And Uganda, I said, it is bordered by steep slopes. And Uganda also, its mountains, some are volcanoes, others are rock mountains, others are volcanic mountains. Uganda, someone is going to ask me about fold mountains. It is said, but it is not yet confirmed, it is still rock mountains, though we have some areas or some hills that are showing us results of folding, yet not confirmed. But Uganda's relief, or Uganda's mountains, most of them were formed by volcanicity, and others by faulting, thus giving us volcanic mountains and then rock mountains in Uganda. In volcanic mountains, we have mountains like Moroto and Erigon, and then rock mountains, we have mountains like Rwenzori. So if you are near these mountains, and maybe you come to Uganda and then you see you have come around the mountains like Erigon, just know that you are around a volcanic mountain. Of recent, it was the year around 2016, if I haven't forgotten well my history. Mountain Elgon showed signs of volcanicity. So that means it is not all that an extinct volcano. Maybe it is just a dormant volcano, but it is not an extinct volcano. So anytime, maybe we may be prepared in years to come, we may see this. So the relief of Uganda state is characterized by mountains that are so steep, and then valleys, and then plateaus, and then we have a lot of saddles, we have a lot of hills, we have a lot. And when you look at our maps, you'll see the contours that are showing you all this. So when you come to Uganda, just to know that you have come to a country. I said it is a plateau, but some areas are so steep but still flat on top. So Uganda, I've said, I didn't tell you about the drainage system of Uganda into the depth. Someone is asking me how are the waters of Uganda formed? Some are formed by